go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, Keith Alden.
Present.
Donna Boggs.
Here.
Tony Campbell.
Here.
Jerry Corley.
Here.
Tom Cullen.
Here.
Tony Gross.
Here.
Leanne Ferguson.
Here.
Mike Patno, yes, here. Chuck Slater. Non-voting staff, for Jay Easter, we have
Will Hager.
Will, how do you spell your last name?
Hager.
Okay.
Like the Hager.
Yes, sir.
Debbie Finch, and for Martha Brooke Perry, we have
Jennifer Knapp.
Jennifer Moore. Okay, so we just called the meeting to order. All right, so we have a quorum. Approval of the minutes. You have the minutes in your packet, and there's actually a page 2. No, wait a minute, that's that's the agenda, I'm sorry. So there's approval of minutes from last time.
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the minutes are approved. So now confirmation of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any not? Okay. Okay, so, item number 6 here on the meeting agenda, Wiley subdivision. Is that deferred? Right.
Are you deferring that to October?
Did somebody request November?
They asked for it to be deferred to October, so that's why I'm asking if it's gonna be October or November.
But they've not resubmitted.
Right.
So, really often.
So is there some deadline that has to be met for October that isn't met right now?
Mm-hmm, yes.
So,
Today's a submittal day.
Today's.
Oh, today's the submittal.
so therefore it has to be November,
Right,
right?
right.
Okay,
Mhm.
so the first November. All right. Item number 7, recommendation to the Kingston Springs City Board of Commissioners, ordinance 16-009, maintaining eligibility for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program and adopting the new FEMA flood insurance rate map. So, does anybody here?
Well, I will fill in. Sharon had an emergency with her family and could not be here. I think she met with y'all last month and kind of explained a lot of this. Really, it's the federal government, and they nicely tell us what we need to do, and we need to comply. But it's establishing a new flood map, establishing our new flood areas, and each municipality in the county needs to approve that. We did not, at this time, need to make any changes to our codes or our ordinances because we typically do not allow any building in the flood area now. So that did not need to be addressed. There are some recommendations that the federal government is looking at in their regulations, and if those come to fruition, then we may need to make some changes to our codes, but right now we are fine. So really the only thing that we need to do is to approve our flood map. And
Okay.
that's done in that ordinance, and then y'all would basically make a recommendation to the city council.
Well, is there gonna be an effort made to notify the landowners that are affected?
That was all insurance.
I assume she has done
Yes.
that. I indicate,
Have you been notified, Bob?
Has she done it, or
I
she's
don't
going
know
to
that she
do it, I
has, but
believe,
she is
after we
going
make
to
it through
do
the
it.
approval
Yes,
process.
right. I think,
It's very important
That was part of what why we hired Sharon to handle that in the last commission. So he handled the letters going out to the residents. But this is, of course, the first step, and because there is a deadline on this, we want to get this done now so that we can pass it in the commission hopefully next week and move forward as quickly as possible.
I would still like to have an answer to the question is how does this so-called flood map differ from what's on the Cheatham County GIS right now?
Oh, I didn't pull that up to look at specifics on that. Of course, what they've done is, and I was instrumental in the flood process across the river, and there is, a lot of the changes are due to the Cumberland River, at the county line. There was a huge discrepancy between what was in Davidson County, what was in Cheatham County, and then what was in Montgomery County. So they've tried to address some of those issues. And of course that, I think it's listed in there, and mentions the Marrowbone corridor, and then of course you've got the Harpeth River over here. As far as specifics to the map on what parcels and things, I have not looked at that for tonight. I assumed if there was any questions about that, Sharon would be here, and then she called me at
Well,
4
I
and
don't
had me
think
in
Sharon knew the difference. That was the
Okay.
purpose of my question.
Okay.
I think
Well,
Tom's just,
I think she did, last week, I guess.
Yeah.
There's 18 parcels affected. Yeah, don't ask me
Maybe
which
in
one,
Harpeth, that-
yes, but, pardon?
Harpeth Meadows mainly?
I don't know what mainly is, I don't even know where they are,
Yours
but
is
there's
the maps
18.
of that area. It's on GIS right now. That's why I'm asking the question.
Would you like, and she could have this for you next month, to have like an overlay of what's currently in the flood zones versus, that was in the flood zones under the old map versus a current map as to what's in the floodway?
Tom, can I
We're
ask you a
relying on
question?
GIS right now, at least I am.
Are you
Right.
using the Austin P GIS?
Yes.
Well, I do know that Jeffrey Martin contacted me from the county, and along with those maps came a disc. And he is supposed to be here Monday to pick up that disc, and then we'll update that map with Austin P.
so what you're saying, and I think this is what you're trying to get at, Tom, is are the maps on GIS current or not? That's
Exactly.
just a simple question. So they are not because
I
they
don't
they don't
think so.
have.
They do not
that
have that
so-
disc yet.
So the maps will be updated once that disc is received and they're updated.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my understanding.
Well, regardless, I think, I have the same concerns you do. Need pass this, I guess, and I move that we recommend this for passing to the city committee.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
So what was the reasoning for getting this passed? It had to do something with insurance, correct?
Correct. We, in order to be eligible, for the community to be eligible for flood insurance, then we have to pass,
For anyone in the community?
correct. Then all of the maps have to be updated. That's kind of the federal government strong holding you to do what they want you to do, but in essence, yes. And
that
of course,
I'm sorry, that was by a short deadline, right?
yes, that's by the, it's December 28th or something along those lines,
Right.
22nd.
So the biggest concern is that there are potentially people that have parcels that are not in the flood zone, that will be in the flood zone. And as we stand now as a community, those people right now could build on those parcels until they're denoted into the floodplain because of the bylaws that we have here within the city, correct?
But I suspect most of the parcels already are built.
Right. So our biggest concern is the parcels that aren't built on, that could potentially be built on, and whether or not we're gonna address that in the future, right?
Yeah, and our primary concern, of course, is that we can't participate in the National Flood Insurance
Right.
Program if we don't update our maps.
Right.
As well, so.
And not having insurance through the NFIP and kind of living through 2010, there was some property in the county that predated the National Flood Insurance policy and the premiums and all of that. And so it was, those people were somewhat at a loss
Right.
post-flood.
So the question being, I understand to be compliant so that our community can get it and everyone in our community can get it. The question is, what are we gonna do with those people that have these parcels that were purchased to potentially build on, and now they can't? Is Is there gonna be something, are they just out of luck? Or is there gonna be some, are we gonna go back and look at some, is that gonna be something that we will have the opportunity to look at and go back and say, hey, these people bought these parcels ready to build on, and now we can't? Is there something we're gonna do within our building codes to make them compliant to where they can build on those?
I don't know.
I'd be really surprised if there's a lot of vacant lots. I think it's, especially down in Hartford Meadows area, it's gonna be houses that are already existing.
Oh, I'm very familiar with Hartford Meadows.
Right, I know you are, and so
Yeah.
I think.
I own one of those potential lots.
You have a lot.
So, that's just, you know, everything I've looked at on the updated map doesn't include my lot. But there's potential for others to have lots that would be included. And I know that I would be extremely upset if I wasted money on land that was there for houses to be built on, and all of a sudden you couldn't build on it.
I don't know if that line represents a 100-year floodplain or.
I believe from our bylaws in the city, yeah, it's the 100-year that
That's
we
what we
can't build.
prohibit
Right.
building. But I'm
Most
not
of that's
sure-
not affected. So,
I'm not
but,
sure that map,
That's 500.
but,
that fine.
not, right, we can build within the 500 according to our bylaws. Right, what's that?
If you elevate it.
Yeah, but it's feasible and
It's
possible,
feasible.
and it's not anything. So I'm not exactly sure if there's anything within Hartford Meadows that's within the 100 as it states now. So, I mean, as long as we have clarity in that, and I mean, there are potentially somebody that's gonna lose their land. So, that's the things you're looking at. I mean, I know we have to pass this, but what are we gonna be willing to do to help people that are in the community now that have these lands? And that, you know, that's something I think we need to think about just as a group after we get this passed. You know, might not be able to be as rigid and still-fisted on saying we can't build in that anymore. That's,
We need to get rid of reason, because I will be pretty sure.
well,
I've just
I know
seen
the
too many
older rigid,
people
but
flood,
I don't understand.
and we all end up paying for it. What bothers me is that developers love to develop
Mhm.
flat spots along rivers, and people like to buy. And then flood comes along, and all the rest of it.
So I have a question. Outside of Ashland City, this Sycamore Creek area was all well underwater. A lot of new homes built down there. Now, are they eligible for flood insurance?
They are, the county's restrictions, y'all's are a lot more stringent than Cheatham County's, the county of Cheatham. And those houses have been, flood-proofed. There's been a lot of things that's been
All
done.
of them, or just some of them?
I couldn't honestly answer that because I haven't looked at
Gary
it.
Binkley's been
It hasn't flooded since the 2010 flood, but, I can't really speak to what the county does and they don't do, but those people, there was some allowances allowed after the 2010 flood.
I'd be surprised if we have any buildable lots. He said it's fine.
I think it's 500.
Yeah, I mean, it was just.
Is your lot in there?
My line's barely out of 500.
Oh, well, it should be on that section.
Yeah, it's here, yeah, I know exactly.
So, but for purposes.
But that's,
then-
if this is accurate.
So,
Once again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that may be an issue that a landowner raises after. the
Right,
fact.
that's all I was trying to.
At this point, though, we just want to look at passing this so we're
Right.
eligible for the flood
Yep.
insurance. Are there any other questions? I mean, and those are great considerations, we'll just have to see when that happens. But is there any other discussion about this motion that's on the table to recommend approval of this to the city commission? Okay?
Call for the question.
A motion and a second.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the motion passes. Using that Robert's rules so far. Okay. Item number 8. Review and comments for a combination of lots in the Ranch Chefs subdivision, parentheses, David and Dale Graham, 1605 Crane Court. Is there anybody here to speak to that?
I guess I could.
Okay.
Don't they will talk to me about it, but, they own 2 lots, and they wanted to put them into one lot, because they were doing an expansion on their house. But they took it to the county instead of coming here.
Who took it there, the surveyor?
Well, the surveyor recommended it, and she took it, and the building official accepted it and didn't really realize that we had jurisdiction over subdivision. So they went through their entire process. It's been reviewed by a certified planner and all the officials, and approved and recorded. So it's just coming through here really for an approval vote, it's a formality.
Backwards, but,
Huh?
backwards, but as far as process. I said backwards as far as coming,
Backwards
Right.
from-
yeah, should have come here first, but.
So outside of the procedure problem, is there any technical reason that we would not want to approve this?
I move we approve it.
Okay. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I've got a question. This is the end of it. It doesn't have to go to county.
Well, it's kind of, it's backwards. It should have come here first and then went to the county commission, but,
Why does it go to the county? It doesn't go to the county.
well, I mean, it should have come here first before it went to the county.
But it
Doesn't
didn't,
Right,
go
to
to
be
the-
recorded.
Doesn't go to the county.
to be recorded, is that not?
Unless it goes back to the county, it's a zoning change.
But it doesn't go to the county. There's nothing
Not a
takes
vote.
place,
Yeah.
nothing's voted on at the county level, it's just recorded.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is passed. Anything else for this meeting? No?
There'll be no meeting next month.
There will be no meeting.
Nobody submitted. Unless y'all wanna have one, just fine.
Oh, good, I'm here next month.
All right. Okay, we got a motion
Our
to
Brooks
adjourn.
going at Disney World.
Second, all right. Any opposed? No.
I just sent her a message.
Meeting adjourned.
She'll be at my house in a minute.